we live? Are we on the internet? I think we might be live.
Oh.
We might be live. Maybe. Wait for it. Roman, tell us. I think we're live. Hello,
Wait.
Chrysler, and welcome to yet another episode of Esports Wales Weekly, your one-stop shop for everything Esports Wales related, streaming related, college and university Welsh scene related, games in general, good feelings, and fantastic hosts. Speaking of which, something that we need to address before moving any further, as everyone should be able to see, if I point the right way, I haven't got a point of reference, I pointed the right way, fantastic. We have with us a phenomenal human being, an addition to the Esports Wales team. Don't worry, Gizmo's ugly mug is still around, but we're going to be swapping in and out to basically facilitate us being able to put this show out more regularly. We added to our host team. Not only did we add, we upgraded with the phenomenal, the wonderful, the notable. It's Noodles. How you doing, Noodles?
Thank you. That's such a good introduction. Thank you.
I made it all up. There's not a script. Honest, guys, there's not a script I'm looking at on the other screen. There's not. Don't worry about it. It's all live. It's all in the old noodle. It's all in the old noodle. Hey. I genuinely, that joke wasn't. They wouldn't have approved that. That wasn't in the script. That joke. That was all me. That was all dad joke. So Noodlecups, thank you so much for agreeing to join the team.
Thanks for having me.
No. It's an absolute pleasure to have someone come in and be part of the team. As I say, Gizmo's still around, but he's got quite a few commitments at the moment with casting and hosting for the filthy League of Legends. Boo, daughter all the way. I think there's some sort of manufactured rivalry between us because of that, so I run with it.
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah.
He seems to he's like, oh, I'm like, I don't. Yeah, fine. So he is still around. The plan is in the future, because there'll be three of us, we'll be able to put out shows more regularly. So if any one of us is busy, there's still hopefully others around. So there'll be days where it'll be Noodles and Gizmo, it'll be me and Gizmo again, it'll be the whole gambit of our hosts available to you for your viewing pleasure. This week we are having a slightly different episode in that we don't have any guests with us at the moment, because it is Noodles' first time on the show. It was just an opportunity for us to have a chit chat about things. We will have a rundown. Don't you worry. We'll tell you all about the week's games. But we can have a bit of a chit chat, talk about the state of Esports Wales at the moment, up and coming events, and generally just entertain you with our wonderful faces. How does that sound? Yeah? All good? All in agreement? Chat is like, yeah, that's fine. That's excellent. So first and foremost, if you could just give us a brief introduction to yourself, Noodles, who you are and what brought you into the gaming space and what you do and all the lovely, wonderful things people ask questions about.
So my name is Bethan, but I go by Noodlecup cosplay. And I've been gaming since I was 3 years old. Yeah. The first game I ever played.
Go on, that was going to be the question. What was the first game? That was going to be the question.
First game I ever played was the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive.
Classic.
I am older than I look. No, I am older than I look. Sorry, I thought I said that the wrong way then. So I'm 27. And
oh yeah, practically ancient. Cover the bit where it says my age. Cover my age bit there. Oh, it's in front of my screen. I can't.
It's like when I tell people, oh, that's my first game, they're like, oh, you must have played it on a new thing. I'm like, no, we still have our Mega Drive. It's like a family relic. I still love it, and I've been gaming ever since. I have loved. I watch my brother's game, watch my sister's game, watch my parents' game. So it's just gaming's been a thing in my family, and I've always been encouraged to enjoy gaming. It's not been one of those things like, oh, you're gaming too much. It's always been like, hey, if you enjoy it, you do it. So
that's wonderful, because all too often we hear like that. Oh well, you can only play these type of games because you are a woman, and like, oh, you can't be on this amount of time and all the rest of that. So it's nice to see that you've had a bit more I don't want to say free upbringing, but you know what I mean, like more inclusive,
Yeah,
more understanding. That is wonderful. Have you been? Are you like a Sega like diehard fan because of the Sonic?
I
Okay,
love Sega.
yeah.
I have like t-shirts with Sega on and everything. So it was the franchise. Well, it was the company that introduced me to my favorite gaming franchise of all time. What introduced me to Friends, and just like I kind of like became more confident because of the Sonic games, which sounds weird.
Not at all.
Because I was bullied for liking Sonic as a child. Now it's all
I
different,
mean,
obviously.
look, I'm not saying that as a Nintendo Game Boy, I would have been like, Mario's better. Like I would have. I'm not saying that, but I probably would have back in the day.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. My cousin was the Nintendo fan. I was the Sega fan, so we often had
Uh,
like a Sonic's better, like the fights.
I need to find the SNES is the best system, and all the rest of those things that really don't matter. Do you know what the best system is? Whatever one you enjoy the most. That's the best system.
True. That is true. It's
That's the
very
long
true.
and the short of it. There are some that are like they have questionable business practices, and that's a separate topic you can talk about. But in terms of like, oh, the graphics or the games, it's whatever one you enjoy the most. That's the best
Yeah,
system.
definitely.
Um, Monetization models aside. That was fantastic. So you grew up with gaming. What sort of style of games? Obviously we talked about Sonic, but have you moved on from that? I can see from some of the figurines and statues and collectibles in the background there's a shift slightly away from Sonic
Oh yeah.
towards more aggressive shooter based games.
I still absolutely love Sonic. I still play the Sonic games. I was playing Team Sonic Racing the other day with my friend, and I was introduced
Mario
to.
Kart's better. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I do like Mario Kart. um, I was introduced to Overwatch through my friend, my best friend, and I started playing on her account. And instead of being that, like do the tutorial so you understood, I decided to pick up one of the hardest characters to master immediately because I thought she looked cool. And I started playing, I started enjoying it, and I thought, okay, maybe I like a shooter because I never like played shooters beforehand. And I got my own version of the game, and then I got into Apex, and here I am, pretty much playing shooters every day.
I mean, you're saying about like shooters are just beyond me. I'm not quick enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm just like, it's just I'm no good at them. I'm terrible. But it is nice to see people enjoying them. And as I say, Overwatch is one of those ones where the accessibility to the game I think Apex is more intimidating to me at
Oh
least,
yeah,
like
it
to
was for
get
me as well.
into than Overwatch is. I think Overwatch is quite accessible and quite fun to watch as well.
Oh
Hence the reason that we have the Overwatch leagues and all the rest of that jazz. Speaking of that, then the Overwatch leagues and sort of esports tie-in, neatly tying that into the question. What sort of got you involved with things like Esports Wales?
well, I started watching League of Legends esports back in like 2014, maybe. Because I got introduced to League of Legends through some friends. I still don't understand it fully to this day. I
League.
just like
No
kind
one
of,
does.
I
People
know.
make it up. They pretend they know.
Yeah, I'll just like button mash and be like, yeah, that worked, I guess. Like I'm not good at it, but I enjoy playing it with my friends. And then through that, I found out Overwatch had an esports teams. Like I got into those, and then Apex brought out esports, and I watch those religiously now. I rewatch them still because I enjoy so many of them. And it's interesting to see how like metas have evolved through these. It's like something that was like goats in Overwatch, which was honestly boring to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's gone now, and personally, I find the game a lot more fun now that goats is gone. But just seeing how teams had to adapt because metas are constantly shifting, it's really fun to just watch.
Oh, that's
So, and you learn
fantastic.
as well.
Yes, you learn by looking. One thing I always found when I was watching those, if ever I watched anything in a high level meta, I'd be like, "Oh, that's what I'm going to do," and then you realize how much team coordination is important. And you're like, "Oh, unless the rest of the team is doing that, it doesn't work."
Yeah,
The number of times I've like, "Oh, why is no one?" helping me.
I
Oh, I
found
see.
that with like watching ALGS the Apex one, um, almost every team has like a Gibraltar on their team, and then like a Corsica or a Wraith. But then when I play in ranked, no one has them. It's just like, oh, this is top tier meta, but
Yeah,
it doesn't work for everyone.
yeah.
I certainly
You need a
can't play
high level
Gibby.
support player and all the rest of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Right. Well, we will talk a little bit more about gaming and sort of have a bit more of a chat, but we do need to do a quick rundown of the
Yes.
week's news. Now, I don't want to throw you in at the deep end, but do you want to read the first part of the news topics? Do you want to go for it?
Okay, so well, I am a new co-host. Hello.
The new I was one in our list is new co-host. I mean, that's that's fantastic.
And there is a new Rocket League coach. Aiden sees things, which is
Eden
exciting.
sees things. Welcome to the team. Ooh, yeah. So there's going to be the. Oh, we got a graphic and everything. That is
Ooh,
awesome.
that's so
I'm
exciting.
not sure what Aiden's tag is on Twitter because my memory is awful. But follow him. He'll be in the Discord server, uh, shaping up to be an exciting thing with Rocket League going forward. The university scene has been absolutely blowing up at the moment with Rocket League. Um, Definitely having a bit of a renaissance period as an esports, which is lovely to see. So yeah, new Rocket League Welsh coach Aiden sees things. Look at his lovely face down there. Why is everyone better looking than me and got more hair? How does that? Okay, cool. Other than that, then yeah, so I think that's the only announcement we've got for team changes. I don't think there's any other team lineups that have changed for us. No, that's fine. What we do need to talk about, though, in terms of teams, up and coming teams, is national selections. National selections going on at the moment for a number of sports. Speaking of which, Rocket League, funnily enough. Rocket League. We are looking for players to play in both the open squads and the specific women's and female squads for a number of sports. This is an initiative set up by the British Esports Association and the Commonwealth Games of Esports, where Esports Wales has been sort of selected to run the national squad for Team Wales, which is super exciting.
That
So
is.
you will get a chance to try out to compete for national teams, where you will compete internationally against the other. In rugby terms, I put it as the home nations. So the
Yeah,
Ireland,
that's
Scotland,
it.
England, Wales. So the countries that make up the United Kingdom and Great Britain. But also extending out because I'm not entirely certain, and this is something I do need to double check because obviously the rules around Ireland are always a little bit like
Yeah.
is it Ireland the nation, or is it Northern Ireland, or is it a combination of both and they're allowed to play? So I always like try and get it right because I don't want to offend anyone because like
Yeah.
if you say UK, that includes Northern Ireland. If you say Great Britain, that doesn't include Northern Ireland. So, but whatever it is for all four of the nations, the home nations as we refer to them in the rugby teams, in rugby terms, we've got Rocket League. Football, I believe it's PES. I think it's PES Esports Football. Counter Strike, Tekken, and Dota. It's Tekken 7 specifically, and Dota 2. So yeah, there are a number of positions available. Please check out the Discord server for updates on when they'll be running open trials and what have you, and reach out to the managers of the teams because obviously they will have a lot more information about who is playing in what. Um, so yeah, there we go. I'm not sure if there are open spots in all of the teams. I think some of the smaller ones have already been picked, whether or not they've been announced. But definitely come along and try out. Always good to be in for a reserve because if any players can't make it at all, there's always that chance as well. We've also got some results. Do you want to go through the results of the? Oh, it's not just this week's, but the past month's results for us there, Noodles.
Okay, so Swansea Storm claimed second place in the National Student Esports Rainbow Six Spring Grand Final. So well done there, guys.
Second place. That is so cool. Yeah, big congratulations to them. I don't know what else to say other than well done. That's amazing
Yeah.
to progress through. Swansea being my alumni, I went to Swansea University, so just saying. I'm just saying.
Proud.
Just saying. I'm not saying this because they follow in my footsteps or anything. Mostly because I was terrible at all shooter games. So, but yeah, that's awesome to see. We did have a Rocket League result for Team Yar as well versus OOF Stones. 3-0 victory. Fantastic. I believe we've got a graphic. I'm going to lean out of the way. So, graphic. There's the graphic. There it is. Yay. Now, I'm going to freely admit, I saw the name written down, and I managed to catch a little bit of gameplay footage. I do not know if the team is called Team OOF Stones or OOF Stones. I don't know how to pronounce it. So. But it don't matter because Team Yar won. So, victory to us. We've also got the Welsh Masters results, Noodles. Have you seen those there? I think we've got some graphics lined up for those.
Mm-hmm. There we
go.
So
I see a graphic.
So the Dota 2 winner was Money for Nan. Well done.
Money for Nan. What an amazing team name.
I
Fantastic.
Like
that. We've also got Tekken 7 with SWFCC Bebop. I'm not entirely certain what the acronym is for all of those, so we'll just say Bebop. Bebop won that. Fantastic. Bebop.
And the Rocket League winner for Welsh Masters was Stealthy Foxy Tadpole.
Stealthy Foxy Tadpole. Fantastic. Phenomenal. So the Welsh Masters going off really well again. Lovely to see that as sort of an annual event where we can get teams from all around Wales to play. Other university and college news, we've got the CSGO Owls have got some exciting. So we talk a lot about CSGO Owls on the show because they've just been so dominant in the student championships, playing just really well, particularly Rocket League and Overwatch, been doing phenomenal in both. I'm not sure, but at the time of the last show, I think the first team was still completely undefeated in both. I think second team had dropped the game. But I think first team was still undefeated. Possibly still the case. But we're not talking about the success on the pitch, so to speak. We're talking about the success with a pitch, or in this case, a new sports arena, a new esports arena, which they've been setting up. Been some hard work going in. We've got some progress pics here. For anyone who wants to check them out on Twitter, they do go by the handle GCS Owls, which is Gower College Swansea Owls. There are a number of other update pics, I believe, on the Twitter page. Really, really exciting to see sort of a dedicated space being built for college and university teams to be able to play. Because as much as, the age of the internet means we can play from anywhere, having those social spaces at colleges where people can meet and sort of talk about things and generally get introduced to the space, I think is vital. I think it's vital for the growth of the sport. So
and also like the equipment to run some games is expensive, so being able to like play without having to worry about the space or the money is huge. I would have loved that when I was in uni.
Absolutely, having access, having access to those resources, and like it does sort of, I mean, it's the way that all sports run, where they have that centralized funding, where you can get funding in and you can get more sponsorships in, which then leads to more funding, and it becomes a sort of a growth cycle, whereas it's very difficult to do as an individual, or indeed as a small team. So having that backing is phenomenal. And speaking of getting sponsors, they've managed to land themselves a partnership with GT Omega, which is phenomenal. GT Omega is primarily a chair, so gaming chairs, manufacturer, producer, distributor, but they also specialize in racing equipment, so race or F1 and the like, which I'm sure a number of our F1 team members will be very jealous of, and will probably be reaching out like, "Oh, got any spare gear?" Or I know Hook and a few of the others. Will be on the hunt. So that's super awesome and super cool to see. Again, please go and follow the GCS Owls on Twitter for regular updates. Hopefully, we can get them back on the show at some point and talk about the student championships, because they've really been knocking it out of the park. It's been lovely.
They really have.
Yeah. So have you managed to have you caught any of the student games for Overwatch yet?
I have, and every time I watch Owls, they're always like 3-0ing everyone. I swear. So
well, this is the thing, because I don't want to speak because I might be wrong on this tip, but like at one point when we were reporting and we were doing like weekly updates of it's this and that and all the rest of it, like not only were they winning, but it was like they haven't lost a game, they haven't lost a round, like they just
yeah.
I don't want to say, I don't want to jinx them or anything, but. Surely someone's going to take a round off them, but there we go, and it's obviously translating that high profile performance is translating into being able to secure the funding required to set up gaming spaces, and that can only benefit all of us. So
yes,
it's great to see. So yeah, speaking of gaming spaces and everything, that's our sort of rundown of the main topics. But gaming spaces, we'll talk about the online space to start with the Discord server. What was your sort of route into the Esports Wales Discord? What caught your eye? What caused you to join in with us?
Well, I've always wanted to see esports in Wales in general, because like I've watched, as I said, like Overwatch, they have like the World Cup, and it was always like England, like was the main representative for the UK.
Yeah,
was like, I want to see Welsh players. Yeah, London Spitfires.
London Spitfire, that was the ones, yeah.
I just wanted to see more Welsh players, and as I like started searching more on Twitter, I came across more and more accounts, including Owls and other like university or college accounts. And then I ultimately found Esports Wales, and I was like, oh well, definitely I need to follow Esports Wales, because like this is the main frame. And yeah, it just went from there really. And I got a link to the Discord, and it's an amazing community. It's just great being able to like connect with other Welsh gamers.
Like everyone I speak to, like, oh yeah, it's been great, through Twitter, watching games and all the rest of it. You ask the college teams how they get people in, and they was like, oh, leaflets. Like, I was like, what? Paper flyers. I was like, what are you talking about? I've been trying to submit to it, like Esports where like John or at the top, but like we just need to make flyers apparently, because like the dragons and the owls, they're like, oh yeah, I just put leaflets up around the place and loads of people turned up. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was trying like, oh, we'll do it through technology. Turns out a picture of things is all people need. So maybe we'll get on to designing Overwatch leaflets for stick them up around town. See what happens, but it's wonderful to see people joining the community. It is sort of going from strength to strength, really, with just the sheer number of people that have been joining, bringing in more eyes and sort of having that the key emphasis on the community side of things. So the community cup games that go on. I'm rubbish at esports, so like I don't play in the community cup games, but I still like watching them and like talking about them and seeing the captain and all the rest of it. Have you managed to play in any of them yet? Have you had a go at any of the community nights? Not yet, because they run an Apex one. They run an Apex community night.
I'm predominantly a console player. So.
That's fine. I think Apex has got crossplay, isn't it? I think.
I'm not sure if it is with PC. But I don't think I'm good enough to like go against such good people. Like I would be absolutely thrashed by everyone.
Don't play yourself. I've seen some of these donkeys playing these games. Don't worry about Giz. Giz. Never seen him win a game in his life.
I wouldn't mind
I
giving
might
it a
like
go though.
absolutely. Maybe we'll form like a casters team or a co-host team.
Oh,
Well,
that
the
would
three
be
of us can be
fun.
absolutely trashed because I don't think Liz knows how to play shooters either. So it'll just be us going, help!
The
Noodles,
weekly
what have you
rundown.
done
It's
to
just
us?
us going. We lost
We
quite
lost.
badly, but we were
Quite badly.
there. We tried.
Click heads win games. I know how this works. I'll pick the mouse up, I'll aim it, I'll be like, victory's ours. We can't be stopped. And I'll just rely on you and Giz to do all the heavy lifting. That's moral support. That's what I play. Not even regular support. Even when I was playing Daughter, I was never like support. I was moral support. Just be on the team chat, be like, "You can do it, guys. I believe in you." I put a wall down in the jungle. Yay! Didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, so that's they say that the growth in the community side of things. In particular, obviously we had Roxy on a couple of weeks ago, the women's ambassador for Esports Wales. In particular, it's been lovely to see more females and people from minority groups and everything joining in with us. Been a big drive from John and the others at the top, while organising things, basically try and make the space as inclusive as possible. So if you do see this show or see a highlight clip of this show, please come and join in on the server. There's plenty of opportunities within the server. We will look after you. There's loads of lovely people that you can speak to. Not me, I'm terrible, but like, Noodles is lovely. You can talk to Noodles. Roxy is lovely. But yeah. So did you know or did you happen to know anyone who was already in the server before you joined, or was it a case of meeting new people? Sorry,
It's
meeting
a
new people
case.
through the server.
It was a case of meeting new people. Like the only Welsh gamers I really know are just like my friends. So it was nice to just like connect with people through Twitter and then ultimately through the Discord.
Hmm.
Um, and like it's nice to see people. They'll be like, "Hey, like I'm gonna play this. Does anyone want to join?" And then people will join, and then they make friends, and it's just nice to see that grow. So yeah, it's just a really great community, and it's a local community too. When you think about it,
Yes, absolutely. Have you dragged your friends into the Discord? Like, are you like, oh, get in the Discord now because we're all. You should drag them all across.
they don't play the games that I play anymore, which is sad. But the like I do play with one other Welsh person, but then the other person I play with is English. But she's
Oh
like
yes.
super sweet. She's so super sweet. Love her. Um,
It's okay. We can still boo. It's fine. Boo.
yeah, this is true. I always make jokes
Well,
to her about it. It's fine.
they just wish they were cool as us. That's how that works, right?
True.
That's what I tell people anyway. All my English friends like, okay, fine. Most of my English friends like anything in the West is Bristol. Like they just think like we're West Bristolians. Like they're like, there's
Oh
nothing past
gosh.
Bristol. I oh dear, oh dear. But yeah, it's a lovely community. I say there's a lot of community events going on, so please do come and join in with us, and we will make you feel welcome. That's the aim. That's really the aim of the whole set up from the ground up, is to make people feel welcomed, to increase the player base, the number of people involved, um, and just get everything going. Sorry, I'm just having a double check there, make sure I haven't missed anything off the list. I don't think we have. All good. I also get about 1 million Discord messages whenever I'm doing anything. So that is the one thing about the server as well, is the server is active, but like it's active
Oh
in the right way. You're not just getting randomly pinged for things, because I'm in a couple of servers
yeah.
where it's just like you get atted every couple of seconds, which I
Randomly
find
figures
annoying.
out.
But the Esports Wales Discord server is like it's active in the sections you want to see. So like if
Yeah.
you want to see the League of Legends stuff, you can see the League of Legends stuff. If you don't want to see it, you haven't got to look at it. So I look at all of it, even though I'm terrible at League of Legends and most of the games. So, um, what would you say has been the biggest barrier to you in gaming? Like, what sort of stop? Is there anything you've come against that you'd be like, no, I don't know if I want to do that? And is there anything that we can do to change that? I know it's a bit of a
I think
heavy topic, but I really want to get to the crux of getting as many people involved as possible.
I think mainly for me, it's like you can probably hear this answer all the time, but it's playing with random people and then them judging you immediately because you're a female. Oh, it's like as soon as you speak in voice chat, it's like, oh, look, okay, we've got a joke on the team. We can make jokes, and it's like, I just want to play like you guys. I'm here to play, and
Yeah,
like, it's funny how I've seen like random people I've never met, go from making jokes about me to then hating on me because I outperform them, and it's like, you're meant to be a team, so play as a team, not like don't try and make enemies on your own team because then no one's going to benefit from it. So I've
yeah,
pretty much resorted to just playing with friends. Although occasionally, like I'll go in Apex chat, and I have met some great players through it. But then I've also met some horrible players through it. Um, and it's really hard to change that because obviously every individual is different you come across. So you could have one random who is the sweetest person ever, and then one random who literally will write slurs and stuff. It's
yeah,
You never know what you're gonna get. So that's been a
yeah.
big barrier for me. It's just communicating with randoms because I'm worried they're going to judge me purely because I'm a female. So
And I think this is an issue faced, as you say, not just by yourself, but pretty much anyone from any female, any minority group. It's that
yeah,
prejudgment that people come into place with. And the only reason I bring it up now is because there is no quick fix all, right? We're never just going to fix that problem. But the road to adjusting things is to call it out whenever you see it. And
yes,
that can be awful. And like nobody really loves confrontation that much. You might have to call out people you know and people that you play with regularly for saying these things, but it's important that you do it. Like
yeah,
education is the only thing that's going to change people's minds. Um, I like to highlight it. I don't highlight a lot of negative things. I try to be as positive as possible because I think positivity breeds positivity. But in these cases where we've got people, vulnerable people, minority groups, or marginalized groups, they need our support and they need our support to be visible
yes,
and open. So, if you see bad behavior like that in any game that you're playing or in any aspect of your life, it isn't easy, but call it out. And if people don't stand with you, they're in the wrong, not you.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Especially if you're in that position where you can call it out. So, like, a good example of this was I was playing Overwatch with my best friend, and she didn't heal as good as this person thought she should have. And they messaged her privately through PlayStation messages, and was the racial slurs were disgusting. She reported them. I reported them, and we got a notification from PlayStation like not even 2 hours later that the account had been permanently banned.
yeah,
So either they most probably got another account, but hopefully that made them think about their actions. Because like you can get angry at a game, that's perfectly fine. But when you start like personally attacking people through messages and stuff, you need to step back and think, okay, should I be doing this?
the internet is not a void for you to shout into because what you're
Exactly.
shouting at is another human being on the other side of a screen or a monitor or a
Yeah.
keyboard or it there is another person the other side. You're not shouting at nothing. So when you might think you're just venting into open space, but that isn't the case. There are people there with dreams and hopes and feelings and emotions just like you, and you should
Yeah.
treat people how you would wish to be treated yourself. It's one of those old cliches, but I wouldn't want somebody to be having a go at me and shouting at me over essentially trying to have fun in a game. um, so you shouldn't do it to someone else. So
Yeah.
please be kind to one another is the long and the short of my attitude to this. Um, and don't think that you're going to be coming into the Esports Wales community and getting away with stuff like that because we will call it out. And
Yes.
it is important to call out, is important to highlight, and we will continue to do so as long as I have any say in the matter. So, um, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. I wanted to bring that up. As I say, it can be awkward. I understand that people don't like. I don't care. Like I have no, I have no qualms about it. If I see, I'll be like, "Don't do that, fool!" Like I just like, I'll call it out. I know some people don't like the confrontation, um, but yeah, that's something that super important. It is important for us to have more representation in our games and in our the shows that we put on. So having you join the team is absolutely phenomenal. As we briefly touched on this before the show went live, but I told Roxy that when we were asking for people to join and you'd reached out, and she was so happy, like she was over the moon about it. Because we joked. I was like, right, we've had Roxy on now, the female ambassador. This is going to be the catalyst now for getting more women involved in the gaming. And
Yeah.
then the next show, we have a new host. This is
Hello.
Roxy might be the greatest ambassador for anything that's ever existed because that was instant change. So
Yeah.
it's
If you see
wonderful
yourself
to see.
represented, you
Well,
want to step forward into it as well.
this is what we were talking about is that representation is key because you need to have shared experiences with someone to feel connected to them,
Yeah.
and for most of us that shared experience is whatever game that we're playing, right? I can pretty much go into any server for any video game and be like, I like this video game, and there'll be other people going, I like this video game too, let's be friends, right? But because I have no additional barriers. Like there's life's dealt me a fairly full hand in that I'm a 6 foot white Welsh man who speaks English as a first language. I have less problems than the average person, right? There's just the way of it. Yeah. It's not to say that I don't have problems. Everyone has problems. But my birth was not an additional factor to the problems that people
Yeah.
come up against. So, and that's what when people talk about like privileges and things like that, privilege isn't your life is easy. Privilege is your life wasn't additionally difficult.
Yeah.
My life isn't additionally difficult. My life is just regular difficult, as everyone deals with. So having someone on who you can connect to, not just on that superficial level of it's a game that we enjoy, it's someone who's shared experiences with you in playing those same games and being in the same situations, is vital. It's vital to us as human beings, as a community, and as a society, as Esports Wales, as a society. So hopefully we'll see more of it. And if you ever see anything that you want to highlight, please feel free to do that, and I will always back you up. And I just wanted to say that publicly on the show. Okay? Excellent. Also, I talk like loads, so feel free to just jump over the top of me because I this like my job is to just like talk. I just utter nonsense most of the time, but I try to be poignant. Sort of once a month, maybe like once a month, I'll try and say something sensible, and that's it. That's your lot now. That's April done. That's that's all the pointy stuff for April. So, but yeah, in terms of games, are there any games, because we were talking about barrier to entry games, things off-putting you? Are there any games you'd love to try but you haven't had the confidence to do yet?
Yes, I would love to try Valorant. The only reason I haven't tried Valorant, I'm sorry, is I have seen the horror stories of how toxic the chat is.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, it is
yeah.
scary. And also,
It's,
I'm not going to name a name, but someone has returned to Valorant as a professional player recently, and it's kind of scary knowing that that person can do something and just come back like nothing happened.
yes,
Like,
I know exactly the subject of which we are talking about.
yes.
There's the new season of Valorant coming out at the moment, isn't there? There's an update coming out,
Yeah,
and there's been people resurfacing that should not have resurfaced. They were banished from the space for a reason, and
yeah,
probably should have remained gone. I don't know a lot of the specific ins and outs of it, but I know enough to like. I see people comment on it that I trust, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, if that's their opinion, probably they
yeah,
should have stayed gone." Um, but yeah, there is that. I've never really played Valorant. Um, because I'm terrible at shooters. We've established this. It doesn't matter what type of shooter. Apex, Overwatch, Modern Warfare. I'm awful at all of them. I was okay at Bad Company 2 back in the day. That's about like that's how far back my shooter when I was a young man. But yeah, there are a number of female streamers that are trying to get back into Valorant at the moment. So it might be worth putting into the Discord, because I know specifically one streamer that's like, I want to try and get back into Valorant. So maybe we can. I'll put you in touch with them, and perhaps you can stack up with them and have a go at it. And maybe even I'll join, and you can have a good giggle at my awful. Because I don't even know the terms. We're like, oh, he's peeking. Oh, he's cornering. He's flat. I don't know, whatever the terms. Oh, economy round. I don't know. I spend everything. Buy the biggest gun. That's my attitude. Um, but yeah, for me, it's LOL. I haven't played League of Legends. I've still never played it. I've only played Dota, and I'm just like too worried that I'll be like, I'll know enough because of the Dota background that I'll be like, oh, I can do this. But I'll like trap myself. Like that's what I'm worried about. Like I'll be terrible because I'll be like, oh well, that works in the other game, and I just won't be able to translate one from the other. So
I've played League of Legends quite a bit. I still don't understand it. I've been playing it since 2014. But with me, because I'm not hugely into like the competitive area, and I find the normal game modes take really long. There's a mode called ARAM, which is, I believe, all random or mid, and it gives you a random character to play. So it's good to like learn a new character without worrying too much, because it's just like I've just been given this character, and God, there's like 200 characters, and I've still played like maybe 15% of them.
yeah,
It's like, and I mean, there's some people out there who've definitely played all of them and most probably mastered all of them. But if I get given a random character, I'm like, I've never played them, guys. I'm sorry. And then you'll get like three other people like, I've never played this character. Don't worry. It's a
yeah,
lot more relaxed in that mode, and it's quicker
yeah.
too, because some of the normal games can go on for over an hour.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah. So there's I am a big fan, particularly in like the MOBA style, where they have like these alternate game modes. We have like turbo modes, so like everything's like dialed up, so you get like twice as much money, or the leveling happens twice as quick. There's a similar mode in Dota called Single Draft, which is actually how I got into the game in the very first place. A very prominent gaming figure, Total Biscuit, who unfortunately is no longer with us. He had a series on YouTube called, it was something like Single Draft Hyper Draft Disaster Draft or something like that. It was
Wow.
like a ridiculous long, intentionally silly name. Or Hyper Draft Single Disaster or something like that, where we played single draft mode, where you get given a choice of three of the heroes. Like they just give you, here's three random heroes. There's one agi hero, one strength hero, one int hero. Take your pick. But everyone had, so there was no like team meta. It meant that people were playing characters they
Oh,
were familiar with, but like you could still have a slight control over like, oh well, I like to play support, so I'll play the int character, or I like to carry, so I'll play the agi. So you still had a little bit of choice, but it took
yeah.
that massive hero pool out of the equation, and it took the meta out of the equation. So having those game modes, I think, in those style of games it's a boon. Let's face it, it's a boon to be getting new people involved. So
It's more appealing than just rushing straight into the big boss mode, I guess.
yeah,
So, like, because in all
yeah.
random or mid
When you're
in
playing,
League,
yeah,
sorry, carry on.
all randomly, go on.
Oh, sorry. In all random or mid in League, it's not like someone needs to be top lane, someone needs to be bottom lane, someone needs to be a jungler. It's one lane. Just go fight, and I like
Yeah,
that because like
click the
you get people
buttons.
who will
Yeah,
argue in normal mode. They'll argue and be like, "But I want to be top lane," and it's like, I just want to play the
oh, so
game. It already takes long enough.
there's this thing in Dota now where you can queue by role. So you can queue as like, oh, I'm going to queue as a support player, but there's no guarantee that get into it. And like the number of times I see people, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a real slog playing this game with this person now. So not that I play very frequently, but yeah. So it's nice having those easier access game modes. So yeah, I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
always what Overwatch had the advantage of having that lower barrier to entry. In that it's quite a sort of a simplistic concept that becomes more difficult and more complicated the more you know about the game. But the initial
yeah,
concept is play the character, click the heads, make the thing move forward, victory. Um, but then obviously the team meta and everything comes into it later on. So
yeah.
speaking of Overwatch, we did have a brief conversation. Overwatch 2 on the horizon. Big gaming news. Uh,
Yes.
Open beta or closed beta soon? I'm not sure. I haven't been following it too closely. Is it closed beta?
Um. Oh, yeah, I
Uh,
think so. Yeah, because
I've
like
seen
you can
people
sign up
applying.
for it.
Yeah, so that's closed
Yeah,
beta. Okay. So yeah, but that's how long have we been waiting for this? Like they were talking about Overwatch 2 a while ago, and then
yeah.
it all went
Oh
quiet for a
gosh.
while. Things were happening at Blizzard Activision that
Yes, they were. That's
were
still happening at
questionable,
Activision Blizzard.
still happening.
Yep.
Yeah, questionable things. Um, so hopefully that hasn't really damaged the development of the game, I suppose. And we'll get to see a wonderful new version of a shiny version of Overwatch. I may even pick it up from the ground up and start playing it and become a master. And I'll just be like the team captain for Wales. How does that sound? Yeah.
Sounds good.
You had more doubt in your voice than I did. I was joking. Yes, sounds good. Is he being serious?
As long as I can play
Yes.
Sombra, I'll be happy.
Sombra, excellent. I remember when Sombra was introduced, and it was like that sort of the secret character that was coming in and all
Oh
the
yeah,
rest of it. There was a big hype around it. It was so cool. Like they did. That is one thing Overwatch did really well was the tie-in events they did with like the comic books and the little storyboards and
yeah,
there was a lot of tie-in. Hopefully they'll carry that through. But so this is the thing: what do they do with Overwatch 2? Do they wipe the slate clean, start new, bring in as many players, or do they keep the law and risk putting people off? Being like, oh well, I haven't played this hero in the other games, so I don't know if I'm going to play them in this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a fine
yeah.
line to walk.
I know they're reworking a lot of characters. So like Sombra's gone through a rework. Doomfist is now a tank instead of a DPS, which we always joked he was a tank anyway. Um, but I'm not sure. I know they've so before you'd have two tank, two support DPS, DPS. Now it's two support, two DPS, and one tank. So that's going to be interesting. I don't tend to go for tank role, so it doesn't bother me. But
Who is your favorite character? Is it Sombra? Is like the favorite?
I
Well, I
yeah,
say favorite because favorite is subjective. It means different things to different people. Favorite to some people is character design. Favorite to some people is mechanics. Favorite is most enjoyable to play. They don't always have to be the same. You can like the
it's
aesthetics
true.
of one hero and the mechanics of another hero. You know what I mean? So, well,
Yeah,
who is your favorite to play? Let's start with that.
Sombra, definitely Sombra.
Sombra.
I like just saying "no you" at people and just like stopping all their abilities. Like it's the most amazing thing when someone goes to ult and you've just hacked them and then they just stood there like, oh, now what?
Oh,
So
oh
I love doing that.
God.
She's like,
One of those
she's the one
one
I
of those blue
constantly play.
magic players. Counterspell, counterspell, counterspell. Like, oh no. What am I gonna do? Ooh, you've activated my tap card. And other video game references. But from like a character design is Sombra still I've become very pixelated. The internet in my house. Please internet. Um oh no. The from a sort of a character design, like aesthetically or mechanically, is it Sombra through and through, or do you have other characters? Because Junkrat is
It's
mine. I'm just
probably
gonna say Junkrat.
he's
I
good.
think
I
is
love
just
playing game.
hilarious. It's
I
just
do like
so
playing game.
ridiculous.
Character design was probably as well is Sombra, but then when it comes to like as a character, like a person, it's Mercy because I love her morals, her like just how she's so caring, like she's selfless, like she wants to help other people. I love that. And then I played the complete antithesis to her, which is Sombra, where I'm literally bullying people with this character because that's my job. So yeah,
That's yeah, the duality of it. But yeah, the game really did excel in like the character concepts, I suppose. Like the way they were
yeah,
like, right, we're going to set this up, and then they left space, and they clearly had a long term plan for bringing in other characters that weren't quite ready at the time, or they had a plan for later on down the line. So hopefully all this time between the release of Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 is a bonus and not like,
hopefully.
you know what I mean? Like it's been a time for them to develop things further and not just it's been in development hell, which you'll find with a lot of games that take a long time to release tend to be an issue between developer and publisher or between staff members or there's usually some
Yeah,
background thing that's holding it back. So we'll see. We'll see. I've high hopes.
I do too, especially with knowing there's already a new character in the game. So
Do we
that's
know
super
what that
cool.
new character is yet, or have they just told us there
Um,
is a new character?
Her name is Sojourn. Sojourn. I can't pronounce her name properly, I don't think, but I believe she's a DPS and she looks like a lot of fun. So, hoping on a new support character, that would be lovely. But DPS always comes first, I guess.
Gotta click the heads. Gotta do the damage. I this just sounds stupid, but like I'm always a bugger for like characters with dots, like anything with a damage over time or a heal over time or anything like that. In any game, like literally any game, I'm like, oh, I just love this mechanic, like that sort of ticking mechanic of like, oh,
Yeah,
it's because it's like it's in a scale for me, like trying like, oh, I can do this, I don't know why. I find that more interesting in like the one shot kill, sniper style or anything like that. It tickles me. So we'll see. We'll see if there's any heroes that I can get to grips with in the new Over the Watches. Yeah, I think that is all of the announcements done. I can't. Is there any other big gaming releases? I think it's the only one from the esports side of things. Oh, there's a new season in Valorant we briefly mentioned. Um, unless I'm being dumb, I can't think of any. No?
I can't think of you, to be honest, no.
Excellent. Well, there we go then. Well, in that case, when we sort of start winding a show down, what I normally do with Gizmo is I wind him up by asking him what the weather's like where he is. Because he only lives a couple of miles down the road from me, so the weather is exactly the same as so. But we are going to go for Smiggle's weather forecast because there's the traditional way to end the show. And as the new, the new co-host for the show, I have to ask, what's the weather like with you, Noodles?
Well, it's very sunny outside, but I have my curtains closed because it's a bit too bright by here. If I like slightly open it, you'll see what I mean.
So too sunny. That
Yeah,
is not a
too
problem that
sunny.
we often have in Wales, but apparently it is too sunny. As always, I don't have a window in this room, so I have absolutely no idea. I'm just in. I don't think I've ever showed the like. I'm just like, oh, I've gone the wrong way. Zoom out. I'm just like in a box. Like there's nothing. Like this is just like a cupboard I repurposed as a room with like soundproof foam and all sorts. So I have no access to weather information, but some way
Oh.
it is sunny, and I hope for you people at home it is sunny too. And with that concludes our first episode with Noodlecups as part of our co-hosting team.
Yay.
I'm going to do a nice big freeze frame as we normally end. So freeze frame.